Fight fans, welcome back. We are recording this on the 25th anniversary, November 12th, 25th anniversary of the UFC, and it's awesome, man. We're coming off an awesome fight night card. Anyway, so we're here. We're gonna have Jason Cusson on tap today. He is the creator of the Octagon. For those of you that don't know, so he essentially, he's one of the pioneers of the sport, essentially, because without the creation of the Octagon, who knows where the sport would be, who knows if it'd be the same. Maybe someone else could have did it, I don't know, but his creation is a huge part. The Octagon itself it's almost as big of an icon as anything else, right? Because that's what everybody always refers to. Is you have the ring, you have the squared circle, you have the octagon, right? It's just you always refer to it as the Octagon. It's what everybody knows the UFC by. It's what sets it apart from boxing and other combat sports. But before we really get to all that, I just want to take a second to talk about all the crazy wildfires that's going on in Southern and Northern California, and Paradise and near Malibu and all that. And we just want to send out our thoughts and prayers are with them. And it's just terrible what's going on out there. A lot of people are, losing their homes and losing their property and, losing their lives. There's people that are missing. There's people they still haven't found yet, and it's just a terrible thing that's going on. So, look up, just Google, see how you can help and donate to, any of the. There's probably a dozen charities out there that are, you can send your money to, and because obviously we can't all be there and help, but in person, but just send your money there and just help out any way you can. And like I said, it's just terrible, and our thoughts out to them. Let's slide on over to Skype. We're going to talk to Jason Cusson, the creator of the Octagon, as on this special edition as we recognize the 25th anniversary of the UFC. Hey, fight fans, welcome back. Combat Insiders, Joshua Furs, Nick Portella, as always. We have a very, very, very special guest with us, being that it is the 25th anniversary of the UFC. We have Jason Cusson on with us. He is the
creator of the Octagon.
There he is, creator of the Octagon, before I could get it out. Jason, what's going on, man?
I'm just having so much fun right now because this is the 25th anniversary, and obviously I've been celebrating a little tonight.
Good for you. Now, just to lay it to rest, because every year this date comes around, and everybody wants to lay a little bit of claim. So just kind of give us the short. I mean, I've talked to you before about it. I know you're the guy that designed it, not drew it, but up here you were the guy that designed it.
Correct.
So how did it all, this all come about? Because it was like a crazy time.
Well, back then, I was working with a guy called Greg Harrison, who was actually the first guy to get the call, and I don't deny that. But he was busy doing other things, and he said, Jason, can you just, make this happen? And he wanted to make sure he was involved, but he also wanted to make sure that he didn't have to do it because he was busy.
Yeah.
So I got the opportunity to say, this is what I think it should look like. And that's how the UFC became the Octagon.
Now,
the Octagon, honestly, there are a lot of other different arguments about how it came about. But the true story is, it was a Chuck Norris movie. The only thing I knew about martial arts was Chuck Norris. And Chuck Norris made a movie called The Octagon. I said, let's make it 8-sided. And then walking down the street, running my fingers along a fence, trying to figure out how to keep them in, came up the vinyl coat. It was very, very organic. It wasn't genius.
It's supposed to happen that way. Now, was there designs that didn't make the cut initially? In the process?
Yes. The alligators never made the cut. The plexiglass never made the cut.
Yeah.
Wow, plexiglass might be wild.
A lot of string, barbed wire, fire. There were all kinds of ideas that never actually happened.
Yeah, I watched the documentary on that. It's really interesting. There's another guy, too. Maybe you could speak on it. There's another guy. He says that he was a fighter, and he claimed he made it a few months. Yeah. Said he made it before you. Could you kind of speak on that maybe a little bit?
Yeah, I actually can speak to that very, very frankly.
Yeah.
knew nothing about this guy until about 5 years after I did it.
Wow.
And then like online, he was all over the place, but I never saw anything. I knew nothing about him. I don't know. Listen, as you've heard me say several times, success has 1,000 fathers. Failure has none.
Yeah, of course.
This is true.
Everybody wants to take credit. So, your background prior to that was, if I read right, you did like music videos and things of that nature, correct? Like production design and things like that?
In the course of my career, I did about 350 music videos. I did about 150 national commercials.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was unfamiliar with creating,
right.
A set.
So, seeing where it's come from, I guess, you have a very specific viewpoint because you were literally there, as part of the inception, because quite possibly without that design of the Octagon, there may not, I don't know, it might not be what it is today, right?
It's very exciting to hear people like Campbell McLaren, Art Davies, who will tell you that I was the guy who had the most to do with the actual design of the Octagon. And believe me, I can't ask for a better group of people to be standing up and saying, Jason's the guy who did this.
100%. So, fast forward to 25 years later, the sport obviously has evolved into this mega mainstream, it's everywhere now. It's
more like a lifestyle now.
Yeah, it's huge.
Form.
We did not know at the first show on this night 25 years ago. We did not know that there would ever be a second one.
Wow.
We were scared shitless because am I able to say that on
You're good.
Say whatever you want.
We were scared shitless that this was never going to happen again.
Wow.
Because think about we refer to it as the moment of truth, which was Teletuli getting his teeth kicked out, and it's like, oh no, we're never getting to do this again. And now it's become exactly what it is.
Right.
And it's not just UFC. UFC is obviously awesome.
Right.
But there are so many other groups out there who are creating new sports and kind of taking it back. I mean, you've got one championship, and you've got Bate Americas, who's actually doing tournaments. Yeah. Which is how we started.
Yeah.
Combates, you still work with Campbell on some level, correct? Because I've been to their shows. The last one I went to was at the Maya Wynwood in Miami, and it's pretty. It's unique.
That was the one where I was there as like a guest.
What I remember you saying, and I remember everything, but the part that stuck out, and you said, "Look at the Wikipedia, bitches." I remember that part because
Google me, bitch. That's what I said, Google me. And honestly, I stole that line from the movie.
Right, but I mean, Campbell was speaking on it. I got to meet him, really great guy, and just kind of touching on them. What was nice is they have the regular arena set up, but in the upper rafters, like the VIP, it was like bottle service, luxury booths. It was just, and are you currently in dealings with them? I mean, you still work with him.
Actually, I'm working with them pretty consistently right now, and we are creating the sport. Creating the sport is wrong. We are returning the sport to its roots. Hmm. This is not about like Conor McGregor's. This was the sport when it started about guys who just wanted to get out there and show what they could do. And that's why this is so exciting, because we've got young people out there trying to fight and just kicking the shit out of each other with the intention of winning. In our case, I mean, Copa Combate, which is coming up in December 7th. Yeah. But we've got so much stuff right now. But the thing is this never could have happened without the original UFC.
100%.
And the original UFC created the sport. And there's no way that this sport would exist without a number of different people, like Art Davey, like Campbell, like myself, this wouldn't exist.
Because the original basis wasn't really what it is today. It was, let's get a guy from karate, let's get a guy from sumo, let's get a guy from...
Emerson with one fucking glove.
He's pretty awesome. I remember reading about him saying when he first got taken down by Royce Gracie, he had no idea, like, wait, this guy's on top of me. But that was a test to see kind of which martial art came out on top.
Well, yes, it was. And also, I mean, you've got guys like Ken Shamrock, you've got guys like Tank Abbott, who all came in there. Tank Abbott was more of a tough man thing.
Yeah.
But all these guys came in there to try to do something that had never been done before.
Right.
And that's what made this night 25 years ago so incredible.
What was it actually like being? Because you know how you get events and you feel the electric in the room, kind of.
Oh God, yes.
I just can't even imagine, because it's like, oh my God, are we going to miserably crash and burn? Are people going to love this? Because it was. I mean, the closest thing, I guess, now that they brought like bare knuckle boxing back into it.
We thought that we had actually crashed and burned after the moment of two. but and I had all this stuff on carts going to the dumpster, and Art Davey came running out and saying, "Wait a second, we might get to do this again."
Wow.
It was the whole thing was crazy and intense, and it wasn't something that I'm very lucky that I get to be involved in this like very strange process that turned into what we now call mixed martial arts.
You kind of spoke on it earlier, and I'm curious to get your thoughts since you were, there back when this whole thing started. You talked about how you want to kind of bring things back to the roots, and it's not about the Conor McGregors and stuff like that. We're in an era where everything is about, well, how much money can I make? It's almost like that whole. I use this phrase quite often, is like the whole tough guy era. It's like it's gone, right? There aren't a whole lot more tough guys anymore. It's just everybody is just worried about how much money can I make. I guess speak on that because you've seen it literally from the beginning up until now. I guess kind of speak on that specifically about the whole, the tough guy era being gone and everything is just, it's always a money fight.
Well, what I saw, I mean, with boxing, honestly, a guy that I knew years before I ever did the UFC turned me on to boxing.
Yeah,
and that was like in the Sweet Pea Whitaker days. And I saw that, like, you got your Mike Tyson's and all this stuff, and it wasn't really about the sport. And initially, the UFC was about the sport, but now it's turned into something that's all about the money.
Yeah.
And what I see now is there's a change that's happening. I don't know if the UFC realizes that it's, remember, because essentially what the UFC is right now is professional boxing, because obviously they beat the numbers on that like hugely.
Yeah.
But there are these small sports that come out that are actually about guys going out there to just give their best.
Yeah.
And that's not what I see from the UFC at this point.
Yeah.
And trust me, I've talked to Dana about it. I've talked to other people about it. And I just don't see that the UFC as the sport that we created.
Right.
Everything's a super fight now. And I get it. It's great when you see this fan favorite fight this fan favorite, and that's kind of why I brought up the bare knuckle thing, because those guys are in there, and most of them, I think, it has nothing to do with the pay. They just want to be the best.
Yeah, and Art was talking to the people with the bare knuckle thing, and I think that's great. Honestly, I think the bare knuckle thing might be a little too vicious for the general audience.
Right.
But I also think that we have to have like some kind of mindset towards this is about fighting.
Yeah.
This is about training. It's not about being the toughest guy. Believe me, if it was a bare knuckle boxing thing, going back 25 years, Tank Abbott would probably be the guy. But this isn't about bar fighting. This is about a sport.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. Let's get a close-up shot of that jacket there, Jason.
I keep staring at it.
Now, remember, I can see this. I'm just seeing both of you, so I hope that doesn't.
Oh no, we see it.
Hey, wait a second. One other thing you need to see too.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
make us jealous. It's
yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna make you very jealous.
It's gonna get ugly now.
Wow.
There are 10 of these.
Where are the other 9?
One I gave to Andy Anderson's wife, and I don't know where the other one. Well, Art House obviously has one, but I don't know where the other one.
We're gonna have to hunt it down for your friendly neighborhood media people. I'll share it with them. We'll mail it back and forth every month.
Wow.
It's just crazy, man. What you guys started, what it's become now. It's unimaginable.
You have no idea how lucky all of us feel to be involved in something that like created this juggernaut.
Yeah.
that we're all involved in, and
Wow.
I'm so lucky to be back involved in it with Combate.
Wow. Yeah. The amount of history, man. I'm sure the amount of, the stuff you've seen along the years in it, and just like you said, you've seen it progress from infancy to now it's, whatever you want to call it. Like you said, the juggernaut that it is now. It's just, it's amazing. It's an honor to talk to you, sir, and we really appreciate your time so much.
It's an honor to talk to you, buddy.
Actually, I would like to throw in one note only because you did touch on it and we spoke about it. Ken Shamrock was supposed to be on tonight. He is in a bad reception area, but he has been rescheduled for tomorrow at 9 p.m. So if you're available, that'll be like...
I'd be happy to do it. I love Ken. I'd be happy to do it. Ken, honestly, I was in Puerto Rico with Ken when my daughter was born.
Oh, wow.
Remember you spoke to her, but just before the show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I would love to talk to Ken. And also I worked with Ken on Kings of Pancrase as well.
Wow. I'm just blown away, man. Like,
The
seriously.
rabbit hole is deep. That's the problem here. We're taking in all this information.
It is a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But it's good rabbit hole. It's fine.
Wow. Yeah, sir. Like I said, you're definitely, essentially you're MMA royalty, right? I mean, you were there, man. I mean.
Well, I did find out one thing today because one of the kids who's working with us on Combate sent me a thing about the ESPN, I guess, put out the 25 most influential people.
Yeah.
I was not one of them, but I did get an honorable mention on number 10 because Campbell McLaren,
Right.
who did this,
Right.
and specifically Jason Cusson.
Yeah. Wow.
I feel like you should have been in the top 25, in the top 5.
You know what? I'll take 27.
It's still part of history.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm very thrilled, and it's so I get the opportunity to talk to guys like you who actually really care about the sport,
Yeah.
and do so much to promote the sport. And I'm very lucky to know guys like you. Well, you make sure that you come out to Fresno on December 7th, because that's our Copa Combate, and that's going to be a pretty special event, because that is another, which it wasn't done since the first UFC, or the first couple of UFCs. We've done one tournament, and we're doing another tournament on December 7th, so that you got to win 3 fights in one night.
Ooh.
And we are the only ones doing a tournament.
That'll be
I kind of like that. That's back to the roots.
Yeah.
It's back to the roots, and that's exactly what we're trying to do.
That'll be good.
Well, we will definitely talk about this, obviously off the air, about the December 7th event, because we don't want to take any allure or mystique away from the man who created the Octagon, which is you. So, again, it's absolutely a pleasure to have you on. You could come on anytime. Your knowledge base probably surpasses both of ours combined, just because you were physically there. Is there anybody you want to thank, shout out? I mean, this is a big deal, especially today.
Oh my God! Today, I mean, just to be in that group of people,
Yeah.
when it started, and not realizing what it was, it's so exciting to see that all of them get so much attention at this moment, and it's so exciting to see so many young people like yourselves really excited about the future of the sport. And I thank you guys for that.
Well, like I said, we appreciate you coming on, sir, and it was definitely an honor, and it was our privilege to talk to you, sir. You are MMA royalty once again, and Jason Cusson's over here, Nick Portella, Josh Furs, Combat Insiders. That's all we got. We're out. Thank you so
Enjoy your
much.
celebration.
Thanks, guys. This was awesome.